All right, guys, hopefully this is live for you. I think I waited long enough on the little intro screen I did up. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of game development finally. There is still some stuff to do on the website before it's ready to launch. I'm just going to lower the mic volume a little bit. I'm hitting the red pretty actively. Yeah, that's looking all right. And lower that down a little more. Hopefully all the audio is coming through okay. That's the one thing I'm having a little bit of trouble setting up in OBS. But anyways, carrying on. Yeah, today we're gonna set up our development environment for the first ever open source game. Kind of the first ever. There is already one, but you know, whatever, it's okay. Well, this is the first official one, first ever one that I'm streaming. So yeah, hopefully this all goes well. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. I did not prep whatsoever. I read one article on Webpack, and I have a little bit of prior Webpack knowledge, so we'll see how this goes. So let's dive right into it, shall we? All right. So I guess first things first is let's head on over to GitHub and make a repository right away so that we've got a repository for our project. New repository. We're gonna call this NoPlaceLike. The first ever open source game by whatever, by yours truly. Let's just go with that. It is public, that is correct. We don't need a README, but we will give it a license. How about? Let's go with the MIT license. Good trick for you guys. If you ever need help finding out what license you want to use, if you're starting an open source project, head on over to chooselicense.com, and it gives you a really simple breakdown of exactly like what you're looking to do. I need to work in a community. I want simple and permissive. Blah, 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 blah. And you just choose the one you want. It gives you more information on all of them. And this project in itself is open source, curated with love by GitHub and you. How lovely. So anyways, yeah, so here's our first ever project, our first ever official open source game. Just gonna bring up the chat on my phone so I don't miss any messages from all of y'all. But there ain't nobody here yet, so we're good. All right. So let's get to it. First things first, we're gonna clone this repository to our local machine in an appropriate folder. So let's go into a sericden / actually not websites, that's where we were last time. Kind of used to going to that one, but we're gonna go games this time. Very exciting. And we'll say git clone, and we will copy the address here. Oop. And cloning, and just like that, we have NoPlaceLike, and we've got our license. And if we want, we can even see what's inside the license. Not that any of it really makes sense to me because I don't know really jack all about coding stuff, but apparently it's copyright 2009 Kirk. Oh, that's, I might actually have to rethink this license because I don't really want it to be copyright. Interesting. Might have to come back to that, but whatever. For now, it'll do. So, where to begin? I guess the first thing we're going to want to do is get Webpack going, or How about we initialize npm first? I'm gonna bring up that tutorial I was reading on Webpack because it looks awesome, or it's all about Webpack 4 and it looks awesome. Yeah. So I did read this whole article already, but just gonna use it for reference as we go through this. So first thing we want to do is say npm init. Just make sure we are actually in the folder. We are, okay, so npm init, NoPlaceLike, package name, NoPlaceLike, sure, that makes sense. Version, let's say 0.01. What do you mean invalid version? Get out of here, node. Description, a game with gigantic robots. Entry point, sure, whatever, that's fine. Test command, don't have one. Git repository, you got it. Keywords, we won't do any of those. Author, Kirk M. License, well, we've got MIT right now, so, I mean, yeah, but we might change that later, but whatever. Anyways, is this okay? Sure is. Ooh, new minor version of npm available. Well, I think we'll be okay with 6.4. All right, you know what? Let's just install the newest one just so we have it. Alrighty. And there you go, we got 6.5, that was easy. So, first thing we're gonna wanna do is install Webpack on our, as a developer dependency. And the reason we're using it as a developer dependency is because we don't actually want Webpack to be included as when in our final exported thingamajig. It's just a tool to help us develop, if that makes sense. So we'll go npm install Webpack save dev. I think I've got that right. Here goes nothing. All right. Fetching those dependencies. So while that's running, let's keep going through this tutorial and just make sure it all makes sense. Okay. Yeah, right, because one of the new features of Webpack 4 is that it works config-less, which is pretty cool because that was always a bit of a pain point for Webpack, is that it was a little bit tricky to figure out its configuration file. And yeah, so it's pretty cool that you can use it totally without a configuration file now. I think that's neat. Anyways, cool, so we're good to go. Let's make a script to run and get rid of that test script. We don't need a script that just echoes error. That's no fun. So we'll say and what would this be, the start script, I suppose? Build. Okay, so gonna have to bear with me, viewers. This is how I do it sometimes. If you need to, you got to just keep a tutorial open for reference, you know. Looks like we also need to install another package, but we'll do this first. So Webpack, save that, and we will say npm install Webpack CLI save dev. So that one's another developer dependency. This is just the command line interface for Webpack, so we get all the fancy dancy CLI tools. Alrighty. I'm hoping that audio isn't too cranked for you guys. I really can't tell. It's pretty loud for me, but I don't know how it's coming through on your end. Doesn't look too loud on the mixer, but I don't really know what I'm looking at for that. I am so not an audio technician. And so next thing is we're gonna make a source directory, go into it and add a index.js file. Oops, did I put an apostrophe on it? No, I didn't. Okay, I just typed one. Cool. Whoopsie daisy. Index.js. And we'll just throw a console log in here like they're doing in the tutorial just to make sure we're all good to go. So now we can say npm build. Oh, fine. npm run build, perhaps? There we go. Warning, in configuration, the mode has not been set. Webpack will fall back to production for this value. Set mode to option to development or production. All right. So we're gonna use development for now, but see how you do that a little further down here. Just gonna skim this tutorial. I'm not actually gonna read through the entire thing again. That would be no fun for any of you guys watching. There we go, so that's how you do it. So let's modify our package.json again. So what was it, just mode? Production. And dev. All right, let's have a go at this. npm, nope, yeah, run dev. Let's try that one first. Look at that, no complaints, or less complaints anyways. Oh no, no complaints, we're good. That was from the last one. Just clear out of that and start fresh. Yeah, right on, we got no complaints from Webpack. Let's try the production one now. So build, and that one's working too. Right on. So it's added this dist folder for us here, and inside we've got our main.js, which is pretty cool. We didn't even tell it that that's what we wanted to call it. It just knew that because it's got this configurationless, whatever. That's what version 4 brings us, I guess. Pretty cool. Let's just see what's inside main.js, shall we? Whoa. Holy. That's a lot of JavaScript just to get a one good to go, but whatever, that's okay. It's got to do what it's got to do. And this is going to allow us, once we install Babel a little bit in a minute here, this is going to allow us to write ES6 plus JavaScript and have it transpile into ES5, which means we can write future JavaScript, which is super awesome and has a bunch of really cool features that you want to be using, but it'll transpile it, which means kind of compile it down to the older ES5 JavaScript that is much more browser compatible. Good news there. So let's carry on, keep grinding through here, see what they recommend to do next. A minified bundle, look at that, very cool. So I guess if we run it in dev mode, it won't be minified. Let's just see what that looks like for a second here. Wow, cool. Excuse me, I gotta... I gotta set up a mute hotkey so I can cough without deafening you guys. Friday night's a little quieter so far. That's okay. Just hoping there's no steps that I missed. Oh, you know what? I didn't even check if my stream is actually going. I should probably just do that really quick. Yeah, okay, we are live. Yeah, okay, and we got audio, cool. Don't know how good the audio is, but hopefully it's not crap for you guys. Alrighty. So, overriding the default entry and output. Yeah, that's fine. We don't really need to do that. That's all. I'm just gonna leave that as is, I think. Or, you know what, actually I will rename the output. The input is fine. I like using index.js, but I like to call my output game.js. Or ideally game.chunk.js, but that's a little bit later on. We're not gonna set that up right now. We're just gonna set up a basic environment to begin with and cross that bridge when we get there. So nano package.json, and we're gonna modify our build script. I guess we're gonna modify both of them really. What is it, output? I'm just gonna take a shot at this and I'm gonna try not to look at the tutorial and see if I get it right. Output is dist/game.js. And we'll put the same one on here. All right, see if this works. Cool, made us a game file. I guess we can remove dist/main now. Don't need that anymore. So now it's called game. Game.js, look at that. And let's just have a look inside and make sure all our JavaScript is making it over just fine. Looks good. Now let's try out the production version. npm run. What is it? Build. Hello viewer, thanks for joining us. Not sure what you planned for. Oh, okay, and you're gone. Oh well. Even if it's just me hanging out by myself on Twitch, that's fine. I'm gonna enjoy myself. This is what I would be doing any other night anyways, so, you know, what does matter? It's just an extra bonus if people show up and hang out. All right, and here we go. This is the meat of, this is the meat? No. This is the main reason that I want to be using Webpack, is because we can integrate it with Babel and we can get that beautiful, beautiful modern ES6 wonderfulness. So we've got a few more packages to install. These are all developer dependencies as well, because again, they're just dev tools. The final export, or the final compiled JavaScript is, or minified, blah, 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 whatever JavaScript, is only gonna have like our code in it. It's not gonna need any JavaScript from Babel inside of it. Babel is just a tool to transpile the JavaScript. Anyways, so it looks like, you know, I'm just, no, I'm gonna type it out because I wanna try and remember how to do this for future games. So we need @babel/core, Babel loader, and Babel/preset environment. Alrighty, so npm install @babel/core, Babel loader, @babel slash, what was the last one? Come on, brain, you can do this. Preset environment. And those are developer dependencies. So again, put the save dev flag on there and let that do its thing. It's looking a little loud on the music. I don't know, I'm gonna be very curious to listen to the recording of this one. I hope you can actually hear me and it's not just like ridiculous amounts of music. Haven't got any feedback from anyone yet, so it's kind of hard to say for sure. But whatever, we'll figure it out, we'll get there. Either way, I guess you can see what I'm doing anyways, even if you can't hear my talking. All right, so at this point, we have two options for configuring Babel Loader. Using a config file, which is what we're gonna do. So, webpack.config.js. We want that to be in the root of our project, along with package.json and all the other ones. So first up, module.exports equals, that's a new object, I guess. Yeah, okay. All right. Did I get it? Oh, almost. Close. It's an array, it's not an object for rules. Okay, no worries. Easy fix. So it looks like we're using a regular expression to test for all JavaScript files, all files ending in .js. It's easy enough. Oops. Test. Exclude node modules, so okay, that makes sense. We don't want to include all of our dependencies from npm. So exclude, is it a string? No, it's not, okay. Oh, I guess it's another regular expression. That would only make sense. And we're going to use Babel Loader for that. That is tremendously simple. I remember Webpack being a lot harder than this. I was kind of expecting this Webpack part to take up the majority of the stream, to be honest, because I am a Webpack noob. But, I mean, yeah. Or is it no loader, I think, not preset. Hello viewer, thank you for joining us. Stick around if you feel like watching me go through a tutorial, but this is only the beginning. We are gonna move on to creating an actual working live whatever demo of a JavaScript game after this. So if you're into JavaScript games, we're gonna be using Phaser.js version 3, which plays very nicely with ES6 JavaScript, which is the whole reason we're installing Webpack and Babel at the moment. And yeah, once we get through the development environment setup, we get to we're gonna get on to the really fun stuff, which is the game. All right, so now that we've got that, I'm just gonna give it a whirl and see if it works. Or I guess I gotta write some ES6 JavaScript first. So let's hit up our source, what was it, index? So now we need something a little fancier than just a console log. What would be a good example of ES6? Let's say, how about we say a const for one thing, cool function equals, about we return, would that work? I think so. Actually, you know what, hang on, let's just make it like this. Something else ES6 we can do. You know what, whatever. That's enough. It has one ES6 thing in it. If the function declaration gets transpiled down, then we know it's working. So let's go npm run, not rub, run. npm run. Let's try the dev first, because that'll be a bit easier to read. Uh-oh, we have an error. Oh, shoot. E-lifecycle error, okay. Oh, we've got something wrong with our test. Let's just compare it to what they did. Is that not the same? What's the error actually say? I should probably read that. There's too much junk on my screen. Try that again. Unexpected token, that's what it is. Oh. Really? Unexpected token? Oh, I see. It's all wrapped in an object. So we're passing in an array of objects that I guess are... Oh, okay, that makes sense. That would be the array of loaders. So, okay. So let's open up our Webpack config again. Oh yeah, I see. That's where I messed up. So just for good measure, and code cleanliness. Right on. That ought to do the trick. Just clear this out again so we can actually read the output. npm run dev. And look at that, it was successful. Isn't that wonderful? So let's take a look in our dist directory and see if indeed what the hell is it? Game.js. Yeah, okay. Oh, good lord. I guess let's just look for our console log real quick. It does add quite a lot of extra stuff, but I'm sure it all has a purpose, so just gonna help us as we grow and scale. Yeah, look at that. So there you go, we wrapped it all in an eval statement. It's a little funny. I mean, I guess that's transpiling. It seems like maybe that's like a fallback or something. No, I'm not seeing the console log anywhere else. Or perhaps that's what it does just in development mode. Let's try production mode. So build this time. All right, now. Oh, good lord. Yeah, good luck finding your code in this. So that being said, I'm not seeing any evals so far. Viewer, just so you know, this is not standard. You should not generally be staring at a minified JavaScript file if you value your sanity. I'm just trying to confirm that we are indeed transpiling from ES6. That's the most important part here, because that's the whole point of Babel. Good lord, I really can't tell, but you know what, I'm just gonna trust it. So let's head on back over here. Babel loader without config, don't care about that. React, we're not using React, but we will get a bit of HTML going. So the HTML Webpack plugin is the next step. So that's another couple developer dependencies, pardon me. So we want HTML Webpack plugin and HTML loader. So make sure we're in the right folder, npm install HTML Webpack plugin, and I've totally already forgotten the other one because my memory is atrocious. HTML loader. Okay. These are developer dependencies, so we're adding the save dev flag again. And viewer, if you're, oh, hey man, what's up? Sorry, I just saw the chat now. Today we're getting into the game. I'm just starting to set up the development environment. We've already got, I think we've already got ES6 JavaScript transpiling down to ES5. That's what I was doing when I was staring at minified JavaScript files. I was trying to confirm that it's not ES6 JavaScript in there, but it's ES5. So yeah, we're getting our environment all set up, and then we're actually going to get on to the proper game, the fun stuff. It might be a little bit of thanks, dude. It might be a little bit of like scanning through tutorials and stuff like that this episode, because you know, setting up environments is just something I don't do very often, especially for games. It's been a while, so I totally don't remember all of it off the top of my head, but you know, if you bear with me, we'll get through it. By the way, how's the audio? Nobody's stayed long enough for me to ask them, but yeah, I just want to make sure it's not like the music's not too loud and my voice isn't too loud or too quiet or whatever. I don't know. Is it coming across okay? Music is a bit loud. Okay, thanks, man. Good to know. I can fix that right now. How's that? Any better? Oh, just a smidge. Okay. What about there? Thanks for helping me sort this out, by the way, because I really have no idea what I'm doing with audio settings. It just boggles my mind. Oh, because hearing me talk is great. Thanks, man. That's much appreciated. There we go. I'll turn it down a little more, but hopefully you can still hear it. But I fixed up, I don't know if you noticed, I fixed up the, better? Cool. I fixed up the now playing so it's a little bit less janky, and added this thing here, a little follower goal. Try and get 30 followers by the end of January. That's my goal. So we want to define the HTML Webpack plugin with a node require HTML Webpack plugin equals require, what is it? HTML Webpack plugin. And I should have known. One thing you're going to notice about me in this tutorial, my friend, is that my memory is pretty horrendous. My short-term memory is just like, it's kind of a gong show. So I'm gonna have to switch screens like every 5 seconds here, but hopefully that doesn't bug you. So we're gonna add another rule to our module. So this is a HTML rule. So then we're gonna use the HTML loader with minimize true. And we're also gonna throw a plugin in here. So, all right, let's do it. So test is .html, same as JavaScript, cool. Use, and use is an array this time. That's funny, I wonder why it's an array compared to the other one. I'm gonna try it. No, I'm not. I'm not that brave. Let's just stick to that for now. So in our rules array, which is this one, I'm gonna add a new object. And yeah, so for some reason it's using an array for this one and then just putting an object inside the array. But I dare not tempt fate, and maybe I'll fiddle around with it some other time, but for the sake of this, I'll try and keep it simple and get us to the game development as quick as I can. So loader, HTML loader, and minimize true option. So options or option? Options. All right, that'll be it. Oh no, not it, sorry. We gotta add the plugin too. So that goes way down after the rules, but still in the module, is that right? After the rules, after the module, interesting. Okay. Might be an array. It is an array. Ah, good lord. HTML Webpack plugin. And we're going to throw in some parameters right here. So this is where we get to be what's the difference between template and file name? Just going to fiddle around with that for if you'll bear with me. I'm just a little curious to see what the difference between these two parameters is. So that looks like it's in our source file directory. So that'll be what we're compiling from, I imagine. So maybe this is what we're compiling to, would be my guess. File name. Yeah, just /index. So I don't know what this / is relative to in this case. I'm thinking it's not relative to the root. I imagine it would be relative to the output directory that we specified earlier in our package.json actually. So just a guess. So hopefully that's all the config we need. Let's create that HTML file. By the way, it's I don't know where you're at, but for me it's Friday, so if you've got any questions at all, totally don't worry about it. We're not on like a huge time constraint this time. I do have to do some more work for my job after this, but yeah, I'm happy to stay up late, so no worries there. So, only done this 100,000 million times. Yeah, man, for sure. Ooh, they're fancy. They added a little bit more. They put, well, stuff that you should really specify, but I don't have the time. But sure, let's do it just to be meta. Char set UTF-8. By the way, GX Evolved, how are you feeling about this music? Are you into it, or is it not your jam, or like, what, fill me in. Also specifying a language attribute on the HTML. I heard that one song yesterday that I really liked. This song, not so much. Fair enough. Yeah, hey, by the way, tell me if you're not feeling a song. I can just skip it, just like that. I feel like you hear this walking in Abercrombie and Finch. Yeah, maybe, man. I don't know. I just, I found a bunch of copyright-free music that I just, I don't know, I just picked through it and like grabbed a few songs that sounded all right and just kind of hope for the best. So he's specifying an app, but well, whatever. Let's just put a paragraph in here so we can actually see something being output. All right. What kind of music are you generally into, man? And we're gonna give it a shot. Here we go, npm run. We'll try dev first. And no errors, cool. You were actually listening to that song from last night today. Oh, nice, man. What song was it? I can't, which was the one you liked? You like hits, fair enough. Hits are hits for a reason, dude. Adrenaline songs, cool. Personally, I'm really into drum and bass. Yeah, you're picky. I'm picky too, man. But I love like the Hospital Records mixes. Oh, the Beatles, nice, dude. They're good, yeah. It's just such a shame that I can't like play any copyrighted music in the background because, you know, the minute I throw it on YouTube, it'll just be like done. And they'll either throw ads all over it or they'll just say, sorry, you can't put that video up. And it's like, man, just a bummer. All right. The Beatles are sick though. They're really good. Revolutionary is what they are. All right, we gotta actually test what the output looks like. So we've got an index file in our distribution folder now. So let's have a look in the index file and see what it looks like. And cool, look at that. It's all minimized like we specified, and that's looking good to me. And right there you can see, well, it's all one line, so we're not really gonna be able to, but you can see right here, it's injected, oops. Whoops, scrolled up in my console, but anyways, you can see right here, it's injected our game.javascript file for us, which is exactly what we want. Oh yeah, electrolyte symbolism, cool, man. Yeah, that's a good one, I think. Yeah, what was the one I was into? I was into a few. I really like, hang on, I'll play you one that I really like. I don't know how you'll feel about it though. It's kind of, I like really weird music a lot of the time, and this kind of like gets my weird juices going. Ooh, extracting CSS to a file. Really? Should we bother with CSS right now for our game? Because we're not really going to be using CSS very much in our game. I think, yeah, let's bother. Let's figure out how it works. This is all super, super, super useful stuff to for like any web developer, any modern web developer. This is gold. This is Webpack 4, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that since you joined. It's the latest version of Webpack, and it's got some like really cool new features. One of which I was discussing earlier is that it's you can run it completely configureless, configurationless. I don't know. So that means like this config file that we've been working on, that one there, webpack.config.js, you can actually, that's actually optional now. You don't even need it at all. You can run it totally without it and it'll work. It has defaults all set for you and everything. Pretty cool. Anywho. Can I set like a channel? Sorry, I just want to check something on my phone here. I want to see if, I probably can't do it. Oh, I can do it, cool. No, there's no thing to set a, I was just curious if there's a way to set like a channel description. So Webpack is a, Webpack, yeah. Webpack is I'll show you the site for it if you're curious. It's a, yeah, it bundles your assets, but it kind of, you can do a lot more than just bundle your assets with it. So like, basically like what we're using it for this game is we're using it with another tool called Babel, which is a oopsie, that's the one we want. Ah, come on. Babel JS, which is a JavaScript compiler, or well, compiler, kind of transpiler really. I don't know about compiler, but anyways. So what you can do is you can write, yeah, like it says right here, you can write sort of the next generation of JavaScript, AKA ES6 plus JavaScript, and it'll transpile it down into older browser compatible JavaScript that does the same thing. So it just means we get to use all the cool features of new JavaScript but have it be cross like compatible with older browsers. Pretty solid. Yeah, but you can do tons of stuff with Webpack. Like, so you can, yeah, but basically it takes your dependency tree of all your stuff that's all linked together in all these different files and different types. So like you can use Sass or less instead of CSS. You can mix up images somehow. I've never done that before, but you can use JavaScript, which is the main thing I've used with it. I have no idea what HBS or CJS are, but anyways, the point is you can get it to output just static web assets and yeah. Yeah, throw a link in the chat for you if you want. I'll give you one to Babel too, because Babel's the main reason I use, I mean, I shouldn't say it's the main well, it is the main reason I use. There's other reasons to use Webpack, but it is the main reason I use it. I know there are, yes, exactly. They are used with React, you're right. Actually, this tutorial touched on React a little bit. It tells you how to set up a React environment in this tutorial. I'll throw you a link to this tutorial too, it's solid. It's solid and it's really straightforward, which I appreciate. Anywho, so yeah, just for good measure, we might as well set up the CSS part of it. So first things first, we got to install a couple dependencies by the look of it. Mini CSS extract plugin and CSS loader. So mini CSS extract plugin. Okay. And these are also going to be developer dependencies, so we're going to throw the save dev flag on there. That's the main reason I use it, yeah. Just because like ever since I started using React for a lot of my projects, I just totally fell in love with the next generation of JavaScript, and like being able to use that JavaScript but have it be like old browser compatible is just a gold mine for me. So yeah, that's the reason I use it primarily. But not to mention, like, I mean, the stuff we're doing now is really useful as well, like being able to compile your CSS or like minify your CSS and all that stuff. And yeah, it's awesome. So I'm excited to see how this works. So we want a main.css file. That's easy enough. We can do that. So well, let's just make the body black or something. I don't know. All right, cool. That's in place. So now we got to do a little bit more configuration on our webpack.config file. That's fine, that's what this is all about. Hello, second viewer. Welcome to our stream. Right now we're just installing Webpack and getting our development environment all set up, and after we do that, we're gonna dive into a bit of game development finally, so it's gonna be fun. And if you stick around long enough, we'll be doing some stuff with Phaser.js, this wonderful framework here. I think I've thrown a link to this in the chat before, but just so you guys have it, throw it in the chat again. But Babel converts the JavaScript. How does Webpack make Babel better to work with? Right, good question. You know, to be honest with you, my answer would have to be I'm not sure. But I think just, I think my understanding was that Babel is built to work with Webpack. I think you probably can use it without it, but I think Webpack makes it so that it sort of automates your workflow a little bit, in the sense that like you can just run like a single command and it'll just do everything all at once, do all these different tasks, and then throw all your entire project together, and Babel can be like a process within that, like a sub-process within that process, if that makes sense. That's my understanding of why you use it with Webpack. Because like we've already set up the HTML, I don't even know what to call it, but just getting our HTML file from the source and adding our JavaScript automatically to the bottom of it. Yeah, exactly. Automation is sick. Automating anything is fun, man. It's always like just a joy. Even if it's just bash scripts or something, it's always fun. So anyways, okay, so next thing we just got to throw another rule in here for the mini CSS extract plugin dot loader and test for CSS files. All right, easy enough. So nano webpack.config.js. Welcome to the stream, other viewers just joining us now. We're going to be doing some game development with Phaser.js shortly. We're just about through setting up our Webpack environment, and then the next thing we're going to be doing is installing the dependencies that we really want to get into, aka Phaser. And for now, I think that's the only other dependency we're going to need. But in the future, we might want to install other stuff like, I don't know, whatever. That's funny, I lost both of them. Anyways, it's all good. I'll figure this stuff out eventually. All right. So we need another regular expression right here. Oops, not like that, we want that. So it looks like there's always a test and a use. That's cool. This is for you guys, but this is also a little bit for me, because I want to get, it's a goal of mine this year to learn how to get really good with Webpack. So I want to be like a Webpack pro by 2020. I'm just thinking maybe put all that summarized in the stream title. Oh yeah, true, fair enough, hey. I didn't even think to do that. Good idea. Yeah, I'll do that right now. Yeah, instead of, yeah, dev sesh is kind of generic, isn't it? So yeah, let's do something else here. Oops. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be better, but what do you think of that? Certainly more descriptive, I think. Right on. Cool. So we want to say use. And yeah, it looks like use can either be an array or an object. So I don't really fully understand that yet, but in this case we're using an array. So maybe it's just different based on every loader. Every loader has different... Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, you like the... Yeah, cool. Mini CSS extract plugin.loader. Looks all right, you think? It's more descriptive. I did get rid of the little like web dev thing I had going on there, the little React element or component or whatever it was supposed to be. Yeah, I really have no idea what to call this stream, so like that's why I kind of got rid of the title in the stream. I've just got this now with the with this like goal thing, just the logo. Although my friend actually totally just pointed out to me that my logo is actually very suspiciously close to the Super Smash Bros. Logo, if you've seen it. Like, look at that. Pretty close to my logo. A little alarming. I mean, mine's different. Mine's like line art and it's got the dot, but still, it's like, shit. When you're browsing during the day, you look for React or JavaScript or something like that first. Oh, cool, man. Thanks. Some good insider info for me. So this plugin takes a file name like the first one, but it also takes a chunk file name, which I don't... Oh, yes, I do remember what chunks are vaguely. Interesting. Oh, yeah, it looks like that logo. Oh, you were thinking that before. Damn. All right. So yeah, you guys are on it. I didn't notice that at all. I might have to change it up, but there is actually a story behind that logo, believe it or not. I released my first ever game when I was, I guess, 13 or 14 years old. And anyways, it was 2008 when I released my first ever game. It was just this really crappy like Christmas Flash game, but I needed a logo and I needed a name to release it under, so that's when I came up with the Sarek Den name, and that was the logo that I came up with for it. Was just that sort of like L shape with the dot. It didn't originally go off. It didn't go out like that. It was just sort of an L with a dot, and there was no circle or anything. But when I made it, there was no story behind it. I just thought it looked cool. But later on, as I sort of like continued down this path of like creating games and like figuring out my life and all that fun stuff, I decided that I decided that it actually did have some meaning, and that meaning was it was just like one quadrant of a Cartesian plane. So I'm sure you probably know, but Cartesian plane, just from math, just the graphic thing. Yeah, the name Sarek Den is kind of embarrassing, but I'll tell you that in just a sec. But and then the dot here represents a point on the graph, and that sort of translates into like knowing what your target is in life. Yeah, exactly, X, Y, but that point on a graph for me is symbolic of like knowing your target in life and like where you're headed, because if you know where you're headed, it's just a matter of figuring out how to get there, right? So like the first step is just, the first step for anything in life, in my opinion, is just like knowing your goals and knowing, like setting, not like, you know, like if you want to be rich, maybe that's what you want to be. If you want to do what I'm doing, that's what you want to do, sure. Whatever, everyone's different, right? I'm kind of butchering this explanation, but anyways, the next logical step is just to like find your formula, right? And find the formula that'll get you to that point, and then that's kind of like what life becomes, is just finding that formula. And anyways, that's the symbolism for me. It's a little bit of a illustration of my own story in a way, I suppose. But unfortunately, yes, it does look very much like the Super Smash Bros. Logo. So I might have to tweak it a little bit at some point in the future, but I'm not going to change it too much because I do like the story behind it. Oh, and anyways, yes, the Sarek Den name, it comes from the first girl I ever had a crush on. Her name was Sarah, and my name's Kirk, so I just took like sound from my name and sound from her name and put them together. Yeah, formula for success, you got it. But anyways, yeah, I just took a sound from her name, sound from my name, put them together. I changed it from a K to a C just because I thought it looked cooler. And originally it was just Sarek, and that was like my name for video games and stuff. I would always make my character name Sarek something, or Sarek this, or Sarek that. And eventually one day I needed to make my first ever website, and I needed a URL for it. So I was like, okay, I'll make it Sarek's Den. And that's what it started as, was just like the website for my Sarek character. But then it kind of just evolved into like Sarek Den is sort of just who I became on the internet. And it's a solid username because it's hardly ever taken anywhere. It's been taken like once before on me, if that. It might not even have been taken once, but yeah. Did the girl know? Actually, I don't think so. I don't know that I ever told her. I could tell her. I'm still friends with her, kinda. We don't really talk, but like, yeah. Anyways. So new, I'm just gonna keep plugging away at this though, because I want to try and get this, I want to get us to the games. That's the fun part. New, so mini CSS extract plugin. They must have a bunch of different plugins for doing these kind of things. Like mini extract plugin sounds like quite specific. I'm sure there's a bunch of different options that you can use, but whatever. So file name. File name or file? File name. All right, and last step is just to import our CSS file that we made into our JavaScript file, which is one of the neat things you can do with React right out of the box if you're using Create React App. GX Evolved, do you use that when you're working with React, the Create React App tool? Oops. Shit. How did they do it here? Okay, they just assigned it to a variable. Cool. You haven't, but you're doing more reading, less coding. You gotta code more. Yeah, fair enough, dude. Yeah, I used to read a lot of coding books, but I sort of slowed down on that just because I found it was kind of hard for me to remember stuff unless I was actually applying it. And even then, still, like, applying it, I got to apply it a lot, like, over and over and over before it actually sinks into my brain. Like, hence why I can't remember any of this Webpack stuff, because you only ever do it at the start of a project, right? And then you've got your setup all good to go, and you can just use the commands that you remember, and you don't have to set it up again, right? But I don't know, maybe I'll just go on a bender one day and set up like a shitload of games yes. Anyways, this is another thing we really want. This is another awesome feature of Webpack, by the way, is their dev server. So I think it might have been you on the last stream who was asking what I was using as a server to run localhost for my website. In that case, I was using Jekyll RB, which I think I showed you guys before. This one here. Super solid static site generator if you ever feel like so inclined. Anyways, but Webpack gives you a developer server as well, and which is the one that React uses. All right. So it's another developer dependency, Webpack dev server. That's easy to remember. npm install Webpack dev server. Uh-oh. 404 not found. Oh, that's because I typed serve, not server. There we go. Okay, sorry about this, but there's a song in particular I kind of want to hear. Curious to know what you think of this song, by the way. I'm working on a video to sort of explain my whole vision for what I'm doing with these games to the world, and I've been looking for a copyright-free song that I can use for this video so that I don't have to put ads on it. And this was a song I was considering using. It's kind of upbeat, and it's, I don't know, makes me think creative thoughts. Okay, so easy enough. Just add a start command and mode development, open, okay. Hello, viewer number 2. Thank you for joining us. How's it going for you today, tonight, wherever you are? If you're logged in and on the chat, anyways, that is. It's good. I know what you mean with the music and the creative thoughts. Yeah, man, totally, right? Like some music just like totally like brings that out in people, and I feel that hardcore. That's why I love like those hospital record mixes. Okay, so like I'm not actually gonna play it, but because I don't want to get in copyright trouble, but listen to this sometime and tell me what you think of it, because they're solid. I really enjoy them. Whoa, not these ones. Maybe it's best of or something. Oh, classics, that's what it is. Yeah, so like any of these 4 at the top are just awesome. All right. So that's it, I guess. I think we've got Webpack working now after this. Let's just test it out and say npm run start. Ooh, error. Okay, did something wrong here. Let's see what went wrong. So elifecycle again. Oh, what did I do? Something in the config file, line 24. What's it saying? Oh, reference error. Mini CSS extract is not defined. Oh, I probably just didn't require it. Yep, that's exactly what I didn't do. I'm guessing it's mini. You know what? I'm not even gonna guess. I'm just gonna. It is mini CSS extract plugin. Okay, yeah, so that's what it is. All right, let's give that another shot. And look at that, we have a development server complete with hello world. Whew. All right, we're through it. Alrighty. So next step is we get to install Phaser. But we don't, the way they suggest that you download it and install it is kind of a little old school. There's much better ways of doing it. So I'm just gonna look up the package, Phaser 3 npm. So it's just Phaser apparently, and it is version 3, cool. So, all right. Man, the emojis on Twitch are hilarious. I really can't get enough of them. Phaser. All right, here we go. Cool, here we go. Got Phaser installed, that was easy. Can confirm that by checking our package.json. Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, but when I ran that command, I did not include the save dev flag because Phaser is not a developer dependency. Phaser is a proper dependency, and you can see in our package.json, it lives in a different object. It lives in the dependencies object versus everything else we've done up until this point, which is the dev dependencies. So yeah. So I guess first things first is let's try and import Phaser into our JavaScript file and see if it works. I think it's a capital Phaser like that. Might not even matter actually, now that I think about it, but import from Phaser, and because it's a node module, we don't actually have to specify a path here. We just say Phaser, and it should work. Should resolve from node modules for us. So if we run the dev server again, what was that? Run start. There we go. Now you can see it's taking a little bit longer to load that time because I think we're loading up Phaser. Can actually confirm that if we check our network tab. We'll just have a look at how big our main.js is. We don't want the preview. Okay, or the response, I mean, whatever. Hell is the size? Oh, here we go. Yeah, 6.5 megabytes, so that's a pretty hefty JavaScript file. So I'm thinking that means we've got phaser included. Perfect. Right on, so now, I guess, we can just, what's the first step? I guess the first step is we gotta get a canvas on the page. And the way I'm gonna do this game, I was thinking, you know what, actually GX Evolved, I'll ask you, when you play games, do you prefer it if the game, the screen, like the game screen that you're playing on is like a fixed aspect ratio and it scales up and down with the device? So like, for example, if you played it on an iPad, everything would be a lot bigger and it would be kind of zoomed in. Whereas if you played it on a phone, everything would be smaller because it's a smaller screen. Or do you prefer games where everything is the same size, like all the sprites and everything are the same size, regardless of what device you're on, but you can just see further. So like on an iPad, you would just have a bigger viewport effectively. And like the camera would just show more. Whereas if you were on a smaller device like a phone, it would show less. But yeah, but in I'm losing my train of thought. But anyways, that's the gist of it. Yeah, let me know what you prefer. I'm curious to know. I think for this game though, we're going to be sticking with the responsive style where it reveals more of the map. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, isn't it? Because like you could see how like, yeah, for sure, man. Think away. I think I'm going to do the show more of the map version for this game. And the only reason I'm doing it that way is because this game I'm sort of, I'm hoping we can port it to mobile somehow, but I think the target for this game is going to be more desktop devices. Just because it's going to be pretty physics heavy and it's going to be, it's going to rely on like, well, it's not going to rely on, but it's going to be much easier to play with a keyboard and mouse. So, you know, we can probably figure out some clever way to make it work on mobile as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Because the thing I'm really excited to do in this game is play with the physics. Anyways, so let's get a canvas on the page, shall we? I guess I gotta open the folder, that would probably help. Alrighty. Actually, you know what? Let's be even more specific. Or maybe I have to say folder, or do I just say open? And there we go. Now we've got our project open in an actual editor. And like we can see all the stuff we just did in the console, or in the terminal, I mean. Let's open up our JavaScript file and our index.html. So now here, instead of a paragraph, we're going to throw a canvas tag in. And inside the canvas tag, you can say, you need JavaScript, bruh. Give it an ID. Game canvas, sure, why not? That's fine. And now, next step is we are going to do a little bit of CSS just to get this to be like nice and responsive. So yeah, I'm just thinking maybe we should, yeah, you know what, let's do a little bit of JavaScript first and initialize phaser on the canvas. And then we can move on and do all our stuff with, you know, the responsiveness. So again, you're gonna have to bear with me because I am gonna be referring to documentation throughout this, but don't even remember what the function's called. Share init. No, that's not it. Straight to another tutorial, here we go. I'll throw all these links to all these tutorials in the chat so you guys can refer back to them if you ever need to. You will find a lot of examples of how to do stuff in Phaser 2 online. And also he doesn't, a lot of the tutorials, the guy who maintains this project, his name's Rich, I believe. He typically doesn't write stuff in ES6. He usually uses ES5 JavaScript still, just to keep it cross-platform, because what we did in the first part of this stream where we set up Webpack and all that, he doesn't show people how to do that, so that's why he sort of shows how to make the game without all the fancy Babel and all that stuff. So anyways, looks like we just have to make a configuration variable. We're gonna give it a pixel width and height only for now. This will change shortly. All right, yeah, so this is gonna be different too, actually. We're not gonna define our scenes like this. We're gonna do it a little differently. Let's just have a look at this toot for a second. Oh, bad gateway. Looks like we're not looking at that one. Oh, a modern web development setup for Phaser 3. That's promising. Code bundling, transpiling. Yeah, we've got all that already. They're using Yarn. We're using NPM. That's not a big deal. They get all their stuff from the same place, as far as I know. And actually, it looks like they're using an older version of Webpack too. That's okay. We can still get useful information out of this. We're just looking for the configuration stuff. We're not really concerned with any of the Webpack stuff. Oh, here we go. This is... Yeah, here we go. This is what we want. So he's just specifying one scene there, but we want to specify multiple scenes. I think... I'm just looking, yeah, here we go. This is what I wanted. Thank you, Phaser. Oh, documentation. Sorry viewers, you're just gonna have to bear with me for a moment here while I find what I'm looking for. Here we go, game config. This is what we want. And we want scenes plural. Nope, no luck, huh? Scene config. That looks promising. Oh, Webpack 4 boilerplate. All right, well, let's see what they're doing. Is this just a live demo? Yes, it's looking that way. That's not what we want. Is there a GitHub repo? Yeah, here we go. Phaser 3 ES6 Webpack. I guess we could have used a Bootstrap project, but you know what, it's okay. I kind of prefer to set up all the projects ourselves, even though you can learn a lot from these, and I'm definitely going to, but still, it's nice to set the things up yourself. That's not what file we want at all. Here we go. Oh, it is just scene. The property is just scene, but you can pass in an array. Okay, cool. That's all I needed to know. And now, this is where it's going to get real fun. In our source, let's make a new folder, and we'll call it scenes. And inside of scenes, we'll create our first ever scene class, which we'll call, how about, like init scene or something. Or boot scene, yeah, let's call it boot scene. Or just boot.js. Let's say import scene from Phaser, and we will say class boot extends scene. And then there's more to do in this later, but for now, you know what, actually not, let's do it. Let's say we'll give it a preload function, and that'll just be empty for now. And we'll give it a, shit, what are the other, there's 3 functions I seem to remember. Oh yeah, he called it boot too. Okay, so constructor, preload, that's all he's got in that one, but game will be more revealing. Create, that's what it is. Create and update, I believe. Yeah, update, cool. So we're not really gonna need a create scene or an update in our actual boot scene when it is our real boot scene, but for now we're just gonna have a create so we can actually see what's happening, like see that something is happening. So let's say boot active. So now we can import that scene the same way we import all our other stuff, but we'll say import boot. Let's call it boot scene, actually. That's a little cleaner. By the way, viewers, I already mentioned this to GX Evolved, but if you guys have any questions throughout, fire them away and I'll do my best to answer them. No guarantees, but I will do my best. Actually, I kind of prefer to use, this is me being way too anal about my code formatting, but I kind of just prefer using single quotes where I can. So we'll say dot slash scenes slash boot scene. And isn't that awesome? VS Code already has the autocompletes all figured out. So it knows to say, hey, boot scene is in that directory. So here you go. That's why it's important to have at least decent IDE when you're making code. Can't just do this stuff in Notepad anymore. Just doesn't cut the mustard. All right, so save that, and that might actually be all we need. Uh-oh, we've got warnings. Oh, right. Okay, I forgot a step in boot scene. We have to export it as well if we're going to import it. So export default boot scene. No console log though. I'm going to turn that preserve log off, otherwise that's going to get real annoying real quick. No console log, interesting. Oh, right, sorry, we're just making a variable. Nothing's gonna happen until we actually like initialize it, so yeah, we gotta do that. Let's see how they're doing it. I think I'm just gonna follow along with this boilerplate project for now. This will be easy to read from. And I mean, I know it's a little silly that I'm not, that I could just be using the boilerplate project instead of like recreating it basically, but it's good practice to be able to spin up your own dev environments. That's what I'm trying to get better at. Not that you need it for this simple structure, but have you checked out Webpack aliases at all? I have not, good sir, KidQueb. I have not. Welcome, by the way. And no, I haven't. I actually have no idea what that is. I'm a total Webpack noob, so please do tell me what they are. Yeah. All right, so, oh, we just got a, oh no, hold on. This isn't, we're gonna need another property actually, and they're not using it here, so. Oh, we should you know what, we can get to that later. Let's just, I wanna say it's just, you know what, I had the config stuff open already, so let's just get that open again from the documentation. I have a project that goes pretty deep, import blah, 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 for example. Okay, yeah, I'm with you so far. So you've got quite a directory structure going on. DOM create container, that's not what we want. Let's see. Oh, canvas, that's what we want. So we'll say, actually we don't need var anymore, we can say const canvas ele equals document.get element by ID. What do we call it? Game canvas. I'm gonna put this up above our config just because why not? And we will say phaser dot hold on, I'm just gonna refer to this real quick. Oh, it is phaser.game config. Oh, new phaser.game. Oh, and we can assign it to a variable too. All right. Actually, you know what we'll do? Import it explicitly like that. Then we can just say new game. Just pass in our config, and we should be good to go. There you go, boot active, and we can see phasers running, and it managed to hit our scene, and we're good to go. So you can make an alias so it just import constant component. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, yeah. No, I haven't. I've never actually set that up in any of my projects, but that would be super useful, especially like you said, if you've got a complicated directory structure on the go. Anyways, so now that we've got our scene actually booting up, let's just do something so that we can actually see what the thing looks like, because right now it's all black. Actually, you know what? I guess the easiest way to do that would just be to change our styling and say, even though you don't have to say that, but there you go. So there's our game, hanging out in the middle of the screen, weirdly enough. Why is it in the middle? Why does body have overflow already? Was that phasers doing? I imagine so. Oh, right, sorry. I didn't even, my B. We didn't even pass in our canvas element. So we gotta say canvas is canvas L. Ooh, actually, you know what? Better yet, this is a good opportunity to test another ES6 feature. See if we can just say canvas like that. And this is the equivalent of saying this. But you don't have to say it. You can just say one line it like that. There you go. Now we've got a less broken game screen going on. You can also make an alias so it just, oh yeah. Is Phaser the big player in JS Game Dev? You know, I'm not actually 100% sure. I know there's a lot of libraries and stuff out there. It's the one I've always used. My friend turned me onto it years ago, back when it was in possibly version 1. And yeah, I don't know, it's just the one that I like to use. It's got a lot of really awesome features all built into it. It is a little bulky, but I mean, it's a game engine, so what can you do? But you know, for sure, in future games that I make, I might actually investigate, try out other game engines, and maybe even look at like writing a game engine ourselves for sort of more unique niche sort of games that don't use a lot of generic functionality. That's cool that that all works. And now it's time to make this sucker responsive. So first thing we're gonna do is we're not gonna pass in a static width and height. We're gonna say window.inner width and window.inner height. And that's actually almost gonna do it for us. However, you see, when you resize the screen, it doesn't know what to make of that really. Like, I'm gonna put my console back over here. But so watch, if we reload it like that, looks okay. But then resize, uh-oh, disaster. We've lost our game. Reload it, figures it out. But anytime you resize, it's a disaster. Oh, and this is something that's really been bothering me on Mac, is it's really finicky to grab this little thing to drag it around. It doesn't work half the time. I don't know why. It's just like a Chrome Mac OS bug or something. But anyways, it's really annoying. See, like it works there, but then it doesn't work half the time. Anyways, not important. Yeah, I have used Pixie actually. I love Pixie. The only reason I use Phaser over Pixie for games is just because Phaser just has a lot of stuff that's like super helpful for games, like built into it. So like, for example, like the animating sprites is a lot easier. You can do it in Pixie, but it's a lot easier in Phaser. And you know, like also you don't get any sorts of like physics engines built into Pixie, as far as I know. Maybe things have changed, but I think Pixie mainly focuses just on the graphical rendering side of things. But don't get me wrong though, Pixie is solid, and if you're wanting to build stuff more from scratch but you need that like graphical layer, then totally make Pixie a dependency in your project and start from there. that's actually what I'm sort of planning on doing if I ever do get around to making my own game engine. I have an idea for one, and I'm gonna like keep it top secret for now, but I think it'd be pretty cool if I can get it working. It does involve some kind of heavy math, which is definitely not my strong suit, but that's what the internet's for, right? Just post on Stack Overflow and be like, please help math, and you know, you'll either get yelled at or someone will help you. Yeah, so it's kind of 50-50, coin toss, but yeah. Anyway, so, well, actually, you know what? There's a couple issues here. So one is that we've got some padding or margin or something on the border, on the body. I think it's on the body or the HTML, or both. So we're gonna get rid of that first. We'll just say HTML body margin, not max, what is max resolution? I've never seen that before. Margin 0, padding 0, and there you go. Now it's still, that white line at the bottom might actually just be my browser, I can't tell. Oh no, the body is bigger than our canvas. That's a concern. That's funny, so our window.innerHeight is not the same as our body? Or what if we say display block on this, because it might be inline or inline block to begin with. Yeah, there you go, display block, that's all we needed on that. So we'll just say canvas. We can be really generic here because we're not going to have a lot of CSS for a game that's using canvas entirely. Yeah. So that we just need a display not inline. That's exactly what we don't want. There you go. Now it fills the whole screen. Everything's black. Wonderful. But we still got to fix this, if my thing will ever let me resize that there. So we've got to add a window resize event and resize our game with it. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the documentation and look up a resize function, see if that exists, but I'm thinking not. Resize canvas, how do you do that? Oh, it looks like I've already looked it up. Game renderer resize, perfect. What is 1.0? Oh, guess you don't need it. Oh, just game.resize, not renderer? Should probably just read and actually know what I'm looking at. Anyways, whatever. Looks like this will do the trick, so. All right, so what was it? Just game.resize, easy enough. So now, might be a little laggy, but it works. No more, it shows the white for a second, but then it figures it out once the resize event fires. So we're good there. And you can see the pixel values updating here as we change the width here. Oh, it looks like Phaser updates it in both places, there and there. It's interesting. I imagine that's Phaser doing that. But whatever, it's not important, it works. So, works on my machine. All right, cool, so that works. You know what, actually, I'm gonna start. I probably already have one of these on the go somewhere. Looks like I've already got one for Webpack apparently, and Firebase. Okay, so let's make a new, I'm just gonna keep track of all this phaser. Oh, Lord almighty. I have a lot of stuff in my bookmark bar. Maybe I do already have, yeah, phaser 3. Looks like I've already got one, so sure, let's throw it in there. Sorry, that was weird. I just heard like a big thump, kind of from my neighbors or something, possibly. What was that I did? Just there, I just added the Stack Overflow answer to my favorites for my phaser folder. That's all. I just want to keep track of all the phaser information I'm making use of, so I can find it a little bit easier next time. Unless you meant something else, but yeah. Cool, so. Okay, so we've got our baseline project figured out. What would you guys like to see next? Should we do up like a really basic little title screen or something? That's usually where I like to start with the game. The thing with the responsiveness. Oh, this part here. I added an event, a resize event to the window object, and just told it to, this is a phaser function here, this resize function, and it just resizes the canvas for you. And we're just passing in the window's inner width and inner height the same way we do when we initialize it, but now it does it every time the window resizes. Yeah, title screen sounds cool. All right, let's do it. So we're gonna need another scene for that. We'll say title screen.js. Or wait, no, not title screen, title scene, how about? Title scene. And let's get cracking. So we'll go import scene from phaser class title scene extends scene, not private, just scene, that's fine. And before I forget, we'll export it also. What is this song? I'm not totally feeling this one. Oh, I know why I downloaded it. I downloaded this one because it's drum and bass, but it's just got a really long intro. This kind of music's my jam though, drum and bass. Do you have any idea in mind for how it will look? Yeah, not really. I'm probably just gonna make like a placeholder sort of basic one for now, and then later on we can refine it as we go, you know? It's all about those iterative changes. So we're gonna need I'm just thinking here. I'm just thinking if it makes more sense to preload assets scene by scene, or just preload all of them right when the game boots up. It might take a little bit longer, but then there won't be any loading screens when you're switching between scenes. What do you guys think? Would you, as a player, would you rather a long loading screen at the beginning of the game when you first boot it up, or would you prefer loading screens every time you like change between different like maps or different menus, like not menus, but different like when you go to the title screen, it would have a loading screen. When you load a level, it would have a loading screen, or it would have one long loading screen at the start. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards one long loading screen at the start, but I don't know. I'm just thinking though, because we're gonna have, eventually when we get into the more advanced physics, one long one. If it gets bad, then split it out. Yeah, actually, there you go. Kid Queb, I like your thoughts on that. That's a good way of going about it. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's make, yeah, totally. Let's make a preload scene, or preloader scene. How about that? How about that? And same thing we've been doing on all the other ones. We'll import scene, not Chrome, from phaser. Wonder if you could make use of a service worker to prefetch all other assets during idle time. That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah, I did try making a game from a boilerplate project for Phaser 3, and it was using some like Google library that was like a wrapper for yeah, to really pile on the complexity. I know, man, I don't know, man, like the minute you get into like caching stuff, it's just like if you do it right, it's amazing, and you can create like super awesome user experiences that load like hella fast. But the minute something goes wrong, it's just like, it can be like, you can get the weirdest shit happening, you know what I mean? Like it can just like go off the rails so easily. And yeah, I don't know, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. Workbox, or yeah, it was Workbox, I think. Yeah. And it was actually really funny because it caused like problems for me at work. Like not like Workbox caused problems for me at work. And funnily enough, my work is called Gearbox. Just a little funny circularity in that. But anyways, it's not important. But yeah, because I set the boilerplate project to run on localhost port 3000. So cool, but can cause, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then when you're in production, it's even worse, yeah. Well, even more dangerous anyways. And then also, like, if you start interacting with a database, like, what happens if you're caching like old versions of like your data or something, and you're synchronizing old data with the new data and like overwriting stuff? Like, I've seen stuff like that go down, and it's just like, good Lord, this is a disaster. Anyways, so now preloader is definitely going to have a preload function. And I dare say that's all it's going to have. Don't even really need a constructor as far as I am aware, at least not at this point. So, okay, now we're going to need to look up some functions for sure, because I don't remember them, but actually, you know what? I'm going to try and remember them. Let's see, maybe autocorrect's going to help me out a little bit. Yeah, this dot, no, it's not going to help me. This dot load dot, no, it's not preload dot, it's, yeah, I'm going to have to look it up. Or you know what? We've got our handy dandy, let's take a look at there. Not sprites, they're, I like how they break out sprites into their own directory though, that's cool. I'd like to implement something like that too. So let's look at their boot scene, I imagine. Oh look, they've even got a progress bar, perfect. We can jack their logic for that too. There it is, so it's this.load. I was right, it is load, not preload. Damn autocorrect, autocorrecting to the wrong thing. So, now we actually need to, I guess we gotta make some assets real quick. Shoot, I was not thinking of that when I was making this stream, setting up the stream. You know what, just to make life easier, let's just steal some stuff off the Google, oh no, not okay Google, good Lord. Just shut off Google. I accidentally said okay Google and it popped up and it, yeah, it did it again. just because I've got my phone on so I can watch the chat, but it also listens for Google. And it didn't do it that time. Good. Google. If you Google, the internet will break. Did you know? Let's just say robot. And now we can use tools, usage rights, labeled for, yeah, I guess we can use non-commercial reuse. That's cool. Non-commercial reuse with modification. You guys feeling any of these? The minute you turn on labeled for reuse, like normally the images are pretty, some of these aren't bad, but like normally they're pretty shit. I also think I'm gonna give up on the whole PG-13-ness of this channel. I don't know, I'm not gonna be able to stick to that, I can tell you right now. Actually, you know what, that's no fun. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to steal other people's images. Let's draw something, maybe. Might need to figure something out here. Stand by. Do I have a drawing program? That's the more important thing. Yes, I've got Illustrator. That'll work. All right. Kind of goes against my whole using open source programs thing. If I was really staying true to that, I'd probably use Inkscape, but Illustrator will do. My work was lovely enough to provide me with a license for this. So let's create a new custom. Are you guys down with watching me draw like a little robot guy or something for a little bit? Let's say what? I guess it doesn't really matter because it's an SVG, but this will be the size that we're exporting at as a PNG too, so I guess it sort of matters. Why don't we make a logo? That'll be easy. Well, not easy, but that's a good starting point. So let's make it kind of wider than it would be high. So like what? I don't know. Also, just ever since Retina displays came out, it's a really good idea, GX Evolved and KidQueb, I'm sure you guys already know this, but to size up your images double size and then scale them down to regular size, because that's how you get it to look really sharp and nice on like a Retina screen, which actually this screen I'm on right now is, so we might even be able to see the difference, but maybe not, I don't know. Will be cool to see it all come together for sure, man. All right, nice. Right on, then I guess we're drawing stuff. Yeah, so like the thing is, normally what I'm gonna be doing when I'm drawing is I like to draw everything on my iPad, just because the Apple Pencil, like as much as I hate that I'm using so much Apple stuff, it kind of pains me a little bit, but like at the same time, the Apple Pencil is just so well done and it works so well. It's how I like to draw all my digital art these days. I used to use like a Wacom tablet, but my old one is, well, it's not that old, but it's a regular USB, and my current computer only has USB-C because I'm living that MacBook Pro dongle life. But anyways, there was a crazy article about how JPEG compression works, where you blow up an image like 4 times and then apply a subtle blur, and it ends up looking pristine on Retina displays. Whoa, that's interesting. I'd love to. Yeah, if you ever find that article, please send it to me, man. I guess just for tonight, we'll do it on here, because yeah, just like, so just curious, you guys. You guys are sort of like my, you guys are my most like dedicated viewers so far, so thank you very much for that. But just wondering, would you guys be down with a slightly different format of a live stream? So like, not how I've got it set up now with this infinite screen of doom and like all this. This would all be the same, but instead of this, you would be seeing my iPad screen, and it would just be me drawing basically instead of coding. So it would just be like a pure like artwork live stream. You guys seem sort of more technically inclined, so I don't know if you'd be into that. But if you are into that, please let me know, because I'm going to be doing it either way. But I'd love to include you guys in it, and that's where I'll be drawing all the graphics and stuff for the games. But for tonight, we'll just do a logo and some other stuff up in Illustrator just to keep things simple. Let's just make it 1,000. How about? You started as a designer. Nice, dude. That's rad. And you're into it too, GX Evolved. Awesome. I'm stoked to hear that. That's awesome, guys. I don't really know what I'm doing for these dimensions here, but that's really cool. You started as a designer, Kid Queb. I have like so much respect for designers. I just think the work they do is so important and often underappreciated, particularly by devs, unfortunately. The hardcore like server-side devs anyways, who think you can put everything in tables and it'll just be fine. It's bedtime for me, been a long week. Yep, fair enough, dude. Thanks for tuning in anyways, and I'm thinking I'm gonna probably take the weekends off for streaming. I might come back to that in the future and start streaming again on the weekends, but my current schedule, you can see it on my channel. It's it's easy to remember though, Monday to Friday, 9:30 PST. Yeah, devs would mess up my design, so I decided to learn how to do it myself. Fair, dude, that's rad. I'm just gonna use the text tool because no, I'm not. Oh, whoopsie daisies. Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking, man. Just like take a break, because like my weeks have been pretty intense since I started doing this streaming stuff, because like I'm trying to stay on top of my normal job and like all that stuff, you know. Anyways, have a good night, dude. I hope you get some good rest. You know what? Screw it. We will just use the text tool. We can draw something that's not a logo after. Let's say 100. Or I feel like this is okay to do when you're using vectors, right? Stretch the text out. Like normally you should always use text, the font size, but I feel like you can get away with this when you're using vectors. Oops. You're going to a robotics competition tomorrow. Whoa. That's rad, dude. Oh, right, this is the one you don't like, isn't it? The Abercrombie and Finch one? Here, I'll skip it. There you go. All right. I'm thinking like stretched text might look kind of cool for this. But I'm thinking we can overdo it pretty easy too, so. I don't know, I'm trying to think of what it would be a good logo for this, you know? Yeah, I'm thinking though our Monday stream will be a, Oh, you love that one. Oh man. Whoops, sorry dude. Here, well, put it back. Sorry, I got all mixed up on you. There you go. This is the one you were listening to today. Okay, so this is what one again? This is... Oh, my text thing's not updating. Oh, I forgot to open the program. Sorry, man. Just hold on a sec. I gotta open up one more thing, and it's a bit late for this, but There we go. So it's electrolyte symbolism. Cool, right? Yeah, it's all good. Thanks, man. I feel, you know, this stream's a work in progress. Hopefully it'll just get better over time, right? That's how I'm thinking about it. I want to see what it looks like with a stroke instead of a fill. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm thinking Monday I'm gonna do an art stream. If you're into that, I'll set up my iPad somehow, and yeah, I'll figure out how to set up my iPad over the weekend and get at it doing a art stream. But I just got to be careful of my time zones, because I can't remember if I told you, but I'm traveling to Toronto on Sunday. I'm in BC, and can you use JavaScript to program a robot? Man, I don't know. I'm sure someone's done it. I mean, like, Node.js is pretty extendable, so I could see maybe doing it that way somehow. Whoops. And I mean, have you ever played around with the like Lego robotics? Like, not like the normal Lego, but they actually have like the legit like Lego robot stuff, if you've ever seen that. I actually had a set of that at one point in my life. I don't really know what happened to it, but sometime I did. Now, a friend of mine told me a good trick for one of these, optical. This is apparently a good trick. So watch before, after. It didn't really do that much. Well, I mean, it looks a little better maybe. Yeah, sure, it looks better, I guess. Oops. Yeah, you're right. Node did change the JavaScript game, no doubt. Okay, I've got an idea for something that might look kind of neat. Got to give that a white fill, and then use the paintbrush, and we're going to make it fill black. And we're going to make the brush a bit bigger. Actually, why don't we use a cool, like, wicked brush, some crazy one? Charcoal, maybe? Sure. How do you make it bigger? How do you big it? Can you not? Huh, bummer. Okay, well, then big brush it is. Yeah, whatever. I'll stop messing. I'll just do it. So I'm thinking if we had some kind of like, oh man, this is hard to do with the trackpad. I actually used to draw all of my game art with a trackpad, but I don't know that I could do it anymore. This is rough. Nah, this isn't looking that hot. This is a little rough. I'm thinking probably not, but whatever, let's just have a look. So just picture something along these lines, but send it to the back. You know what I mean? Like something kind of behind like some sort of a shape behind the, like a asteroid or something would be cool. Or, ooh. You know what? No, I'm not going to, yeah, it is difficult. Totally, man. I'm not going to get too invested in like making a perfect logo on this episode or this stream, because that's that'll come on Monday when I hook up my iPad and we actually start doing some real drawing. I'll get a little practice in over the weekend too, just so I'm not shitting the bed on Monday. But yeah, man. So you know what? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's just use this for now and just get something that we can import into our game and actually display on the canvas. So gotta go file, or let's. I don't think we really need to save that file, so let's just export the PNG. And we want to put it where games, NoPlaceLike, source. Oh, now hang on a minute. We're probably going to need a way to move our images into our distribution, our dist directory as well. So that might mean a little bit more playing around with Webpack. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that would be cool for the final logo, but we'll finesse it a lot more and make it look real nice. So I'm gonna put it here for now, but yeah, because you never want your dist folder is usually ignored by, you usually put a git ignore on that, so you don't that doesn't end up in your repository. So yeah, we are gonna have to set something up for that. Assets. And we'll say images and export. And yes, we want transparency, and that looks good. So you know what? Actually, I just had a thought though. I'm gonna up this a little bit. Yeah, that looks fine, because we're gonna scale this down by like half, so I just want to make sure you can still see the border. Just re-export that real quick. Oh, and I should probably call it something other than untitled too. That'd help. All right, so we can just leave that open for now, but now we get back to the fun stuff. Not that art's not fun. I actually really enjoy art as well, but yeah, I do enjoy my coding. So I'm just gonna get rid of, oops. All right. So yeah, I guess the next step, we gotta set up, just forget about this for now. Title scene, we're not really doing anything, which is fine. Yeah, we're only importing boot scene, so we're not gonna break anything right now. Just save that too. Okay, so next up, yeah, let's see, we gotta figure out a Webpack for assets. Let's say image assets. Image loader? Good. Oh man, I don't know. Bundle images? I don't know if that's what we want. Let's just see what an image loader is, because I think we were using loaders for everything else, so why not use one for Webpack as well, right? See the usage. Actually, let's read the description and see what it says it does. Image loader for Webpack, minify PNG, JPEG, GIF, SVG, and WebP images with image. Oh, ImageMin, that's a separate package. I thought this did that. I was like, wow, that's neat. Installing on some versions of OS X may raise errors. Okay, well, technically I'm on Mac OS. I'm not on OS X anymore, so hopefully it's fine. But, oh, you can install it with Homebrew if that happens. All right, well, that's not ideal, but yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen to us. file loader? Oh, maybe this is what we want actually. What is file loader? File loader that resolves import require on file into a URL and emits the file into the output directory. Yeah. Sorta. But I mean, do we need to import the image? I don't think we need to import images like this for Webpack. You know what, let's see what our handy dandy boilerplate people are doing. So I guess a good example of that would be in the sprites probably. So let's have a look at Mario. They gotta import a sprite for him somewhere, right? Like an image, I would think. Or, oh wait, no, hold on. I'm looking in the wrong place. Won't be in their source, it'll be in their root, and we want to see what they're doing in their... Oh, they've got a config... Oh, they've got a production config and a regular config like that. We did that a little bit differently. But anyways, I love comments like these. I did this to make Webpack work, but I'm not really sure it should always be true. It's comments like that where you're just kind of like, might work, I don't know, it works on my machine. So let's see, what are they doing for, they're using browser sync, which is a little different than what we're using, but that's fine. Babel loader, yeah, okay. Expose. Oh, wow, they're using wow, they're using some crazy shit. But it doesn't look like they're doing anything for images, huh? Where are their images? That would be a good place to start too. Oh, assets. Oh. Oh, I see. So they actually just have like a folder in their root for assets. And then I guess, what, would they just, how would they reference them? Oh, their index is in the root too. Oh, okay, they've got like a way different setup than we do. I just realized I don't think I think I totally skipped this step. We need a Babel RC file. I've 100% spaced on that. Yeah, wow, whoopsie daisy. I 100% went right past this. Normally I would, just keep doing it like that. Can't believe I forgot this. All right, and we're looking at Babel preset environment. There's a good chance that we weren't even transpiling there for a while because I didn't have this in here. So better retest our build, our commands and stuff. So npm run dev. Ooh, taking a little while, but it works. npm run. Actually, you know what? Let's have a look at dev now, because maybe it's going to look different on the inside. Because it was a little confusing last time. I was a little surprised to see that it game. Yeah, it's still just a big, huge eval. I don't know why they're doing it that way, but I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons, so I'm not going to question it right now. Anyway, we're not going to figure anything out by looking at that file, so whatever. The point is, the command executed, no errors, so we're good there. Let's just make sure the production one works too. Oh. Well, we got a warning, but we don't have any errors, so that's good. I think it's just yelling at us because we've got a really big JavaScript file. Yeah, they exceeded the recommended size limit of 244 kilobytes by a lot. We pretty much, yeah, we did. We were 4 times that at least. That's okay, whatever. We can optimize later. Right now, we just want to get our environment set up so we can start getting into our development. I gotta figure out this image thing. This is gonna bug me. It looks like this is one way to go, but I don't know that this is gonna play nicely with Phaser. That's what I'm worried about using this way. Because for Phaser, when you're loading in images and whatnot, yeah, for Phaser, when you're loading in images, you actually just pass the path of the image. You don't pass like, and I don't think, maybe you can pass an image object. Why don't we, let's have a look at the documentation and see what the load object works with. So, we want image, I guess. So load image. Would load ball file. Yeah. So it's loading an animation, so that's another thing, but it's an Atlas sprite animation, whatever. Atlas again, Atlas still. Phaser 3, Webpack 4, image is, I guess. It's kind of that's quite a specific Google search, but we'll see what we can find. Generic platformer bootstrap project, that's what we're looking at, I think, isn't it? Nikolsky. Nikolsky, yep, that's what we're looking at. Oh, what? Photon Storm has an official one? Yeah, so GX Evolved, this is the guy who created Phaser, is Photon Storm, so I'm guessing his Phaser 3 project template is going to be solid. Okay, we are going to use his from now on. Oh, he's got assets. Oh, he's doing it that way too. Oh, man. Oh, dear. So let's just see what it... Yeah, so he is loading them just straight up from the... All right, well then, you know what? For now, I'm gonna be bad and just do it in a not very good way. We should... I'm gonna start a to-do file in here. I would actually recognize that as like a file type or something. How do you make, can you make real checkboxes and stuff? That'd be cool. I'm just gonna look this up really quick. This is cool. That's... How do you do it though? Okay, whatever. That's not important. I'm just going off on a tangent now. I usually just go like this and say, or maybe that. Yeah, that looks good. So, load images properly via Webpack. All right. So the bad way that we're going to do this is we're just going to straight up move those assets into our dist folder. You know, there's got to be like a copy. Sorry, I'm really hung up on this. Webpack for copy files, like that's got to exist, right? Copy Webpack plugin, perfect. Okay, let's check it out on their site. It is version 4.28. Nice, perfect. So it's going to work with our version, I think. So npm install, what is it? Copy Webpack plugin. Sorry, I thought we were done with Webpack for now, but looks like we've got a little bit more cut out for it, or a little bit more to do. We're also 2 hours and 30 minutes into this stream. Well, that's okay. We can, this one can go on for a while. I do need to do my work, that's important, I have to do that, but I'm in for a late night, that's okay. It's the weekend after this, so I can relax. Did I just kill the music for you? I bet you I did. I did, I killed the music for you just by taking out a headphone. How annoying is that? There you go. Sorry about that. Okay. We installed it, right? Did I not install it? What? Oh, copy Webpack code. We got it. Okay, my bad. We're good to go. So how do we use it? Oh boy, here we go. I honestly, this is one of my beefs with Webpack is like, I find that their documentation is not really written for Webpack noobs, such as myself. It seems to be written for people who are already pretty like handy with it. But you know what? Whatever. We'll figure it out. So first things first, we need to actually open our config file, our Webpack config. We got to require our copy Webpack plugin. All right, then we got to throw it in down here, I imagine, with the other plugins. New copy Webpack plugin. So it says it needs patterns, and then okay, so that must be patterns of files we want to match, I imagine. Oh, a simple pattern looks like this. Cool, okay, so from source to dest. Oh, can we just do that? Oh, hold on, this might be really easy. So relative, absolute, oh, you can do relative and absolute paths. here we go. So from that to that. Okay, so let's say, yeah, I see. So every plugin you get to use kind of differently. That's kind of cool. Are there actual options we're supposed to be defining here? I don't think it's told us about the options yet. So I'm gonna leave that out for now. I was just brushing my teeth and getting ready for bed. Yeah, no worries, man. I think I might wrap it up in a little bit here. Just once I get as soon as I get the logo to display on the title screen, I'll be happy and we can call it quits. Or you can call it quits whenever you want, but I'm gonna call it quits once I get a logo on the screen. Do you think I'll utilize the guy who created Phaser's template? You know, if I was smart, that's probably what I would do, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of stubborn. I like creating my own environments, so no, I think I'm just gonna stick it out and build our own environment for every game, just because it's really good practice to be able to like spin up environments like that, and you know, like I said, by 2020 I want to be a Webpack master, so that's my goal. I'm only gonna get there if I grind through all this stuff, right? Thanks, man. But it is sick that he made a boilerplate thing like that. It's just one of my beef. I've got a little bit of beef with those like boilerplate projects because I find that they get behind the current version of like Phaser or whatever the library is. I find they get behind in versioning really quickly unless they're like really on it about updating them, which a lot of the time they're not. I'm not saying that he's not. Maybe he is, but that's just been my experience in the past with boilerplate projects. That, and I don't know, it's kind of cathartic for me to create these environments for some reason. So I don't know that we need, I think the only thing we need is the to and from, right? Like, yeah, it just says from that to that. So yeah, let's just do it. So it must be relative, I imagine it's relative to our, whatchamacallits, the thing we specified in package. Yeah, our output. Oh, we didn't specify an input. So input defaults to source, so it's just relative to our inputs and outputs. Yeah, okay, so I'm guessing we can just get away with this. No, sorry, from comes first, so obviously makes sense. From assets. It's in the root of source, is it not? Yes, it is. So from assets to, really it could just be assets, couldn't it? To dest, yeah, so just to assets, why not? From assets to assets. So in theory, I'm thinking if this works, it's just gonna copy this folder here, or this directory folder, whatever, from our source to our dist, and here's hoping. Hey, of course, man. That's like, honestly, that's what I want to be, is I want to be someone that people can learn game dev from, man. Like you're trying to make a game in 2019. Sick, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, like if you yeah, I hope you get a lot out of this, man. Like as much as I can pass on to you, I certainly will. Oh, sorry. My hands get so itchy. I get eczema really bad, unfortunately. That's why I've always got this tub of moisturizer with me. Great. All right, so okay, here we go. Let's give it a shot. npm run dev is a bit quicker, I think, so let's try dev. Oh, error. Okay, so what went wrong? Unable to locate assets in... Oh, okay, so it's not... It's basing it right from the root of our project, not from... Oh yeah, of course it is. All these other ones are too. Okay, so it's got to be like this. Source / that. And then we want to say ./dist/ assets. I'd love to be able to stream making the game or get good enough at coding to do what you're doing. My computer is so bad though, good enough for dev but not streaming. Can I ask real quick what your thoughts are on functional programming? Ooh, good question. Sorry to hear about your computer, man. That's a bummer. Honestly, dude, like before I had this computer, I was running all of my development stuff on a Chromebook, if you can believe that. I hacked the hell out of it and I put a proper distribution of Linux on it, and it actually worked pretty well. But then I got this new job with my current company and they were so nice. This company is treating me like gold, and like honestly, like they hooked me up with this laptop and I'm so grateful because it's amazing. But yeah, functional programming. Yeah, you know, to be honest, I don't know a whole ton about it. I know it's very, very, very declarative from what I remember. So like, it's almost like things are more clear what you're doing because you basically write a function for everything you're doing. But the thing that really tripped me up when I was like, my friend sent me an article on it and I did actually go through it and like try to do it. It was just functional programming in JavaScript, but the thing I remember being kind of tripped up by was that you had to use, oh, thanks, dude. Much appreciated. Yeah, with functional programming, the thing that I found tripped me up the most was just the fact that you had to use, or the article I was reading recommended that you use recursion instead of loops, which was something that was really tricky to get my head around for a while. And to be honest, I still just prefer using loops myself. But I mean, it is possible to do everything you can do with a loop, in a loop with a recursive call. So it's doable. It's just you have to have your head really wrapped around recursion, and you know, like I can do it when I have to, but it's not something I do very often. So yeah, functional programming, it's a little bit outside of my expertise, to be honest, but that's my super half-baked answer. Anyways, let's give this another run and see if that works this time. There you go, it worked. And let's just have a look inside of our dist folder. And that's weird. Dist has dist in it. That's not quite right, is it? So let's go into it and actually see what's going on here. All right, so what's in dist? Oh, assets is in dist. Oh, that's weird. So it must, okay, so like, it looks like, I'm guessing what's going on here is this one is relative to your project's root, and then this one is relative to your output. So we actually don't need dist on this one. We would just say, I guess, just assets. I guess, I don't know. Let's give it another whirl. Oh, actually no, let's, oh, definitely don't run it here, but let's say rmr dist. There we go. Everything else is peachy. So let's just run this again. Let's go npm run dev. gonna yell at us? Nope, didn't yell at us. That's a good sign. Good first step. And there we go. Now dist has an assets folder in it. Oh, awesome. Okay, sorry I took so long to do that. It's just, it's gonna serve us well in the future when we get this project up on GitHub, which actually I'll be doing commits. I want to do a commit every stream that I'm working on these games, as long as we get something half decent done, which in this case we totally did, because we got our environment all set up. That's a huge accomplishment in and of itself. And yeah, so everything in sorry, I keep losing my train of thought, but yeah, every live stream I'm gonna post a link to the commit, or yeah, the commit from that stream, I suppose. I'll put it in the description or something. And I'm actually uploading all of these streams to YouTube as well. I don't know if I told you that, but and I'll throw the link on YouTube as well, so that people watching it in the future can get the code from what we worked on. Anyways, let's just make sure the image is actually in there. And look at that. Wonder what an image looks like if we open it with less. See it anyways? Yes. Oh. Whoa! How's that for freaky? That's what an image looks like when you open it in a text editor. Anyways, let's... All right, cool. So now we've got it bundling our... So actually, you know what? Let's, do we have a git ignore already? No, we don't, so let's make one. Oh yeah, this is a part of the setup that I totally forgot to do. We gotta make a git ignore file, geez. So we wanna ignore node modules slash, and we wanna ignore dist slash, and where there's gonna be other stuff we'll add to that, but for now that should be enough. I think everything else we want to end up in source control. I know package lock you do, package of course you do, Webpack you do, Babel RC you do. Yeah, I think the rest we want in there. Yeah, that image, I know, hey, it's nuts. It looks wild. Just the matrix, that's straight up what it is. I did good, I only drank almost one Red Bull this stream. I really got to tone it down on the energy drinks. That's got to be terrible for me. I don't even want to know. I just want to live in ignorance of how bad those drinks probably are for me. Anyways, so we can actually check that off our to-do. All right. So yeah, last things last. We'll just get the image to load up now. So now that we have it, we can access it really easy. So that's awesome. That's problem solved. And we were going to do it all in a preloading scene. So this.load.image, and we'll call it logo, and it is in. So this would be what, relative to the index? So it would be in assets/images/logo.png. That ought to do the trick. And I want to. I like the sugar. You like the sugar-free Red Bulls, yeah. And Starbucks double espresso shot cold drink in the can. I've never tried that. That sounds gnarly. Oh, we're throwing hella errors. What's going on? Oh, we're just disconnected. That's all. Cool. So we can just boot up our serve command again. Run serve. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not serve. It's start, isn't it? I always get my server commands all mixed up. Okay, so we can start. I'm gonna reduce the number of tabs we've got on the go here. Keep that open. Get rid of that. That's useful. That we don't need. That we don't need. That we don't need. That. Actually, let's keep this just for a minute. Because I just want to see if he's got like a preloader or anything on the go. Actually, I don't think he does he? Okay, no, he doesn't. Well, you know what? We'll keep it simple for now. We'll do a loading bar some other time. Copy Webpack. We're done. Oh, you know what? Let's throw that in my... Let's make a Webpack 4 one. Not in phaser, you silly, silly computer. Damn machines. Webpack 4, right there. All right. Get our console up. Audio context was not allowed to start. Oh no. If we reload the page, it's not allowed to start. That's weird. I don't really know what that warning's all about, but hopefully it doesn't cause problems for us down the line. Cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. Okay, so I guess to keep it simple, we'll just get a create command. So by the way, these commands that not commands, sorry, the functions I'm defining in the scene objects for phaser are built-in functions that you can override, and so like there's preload, create, and there's update. So what each of these functions does is this one is called right at the start when the scene first, well, when it's preloading, right? This is the preloading function. So called first, used to load assets. Then after that, you have the create function, which is called after preload, used to initialize your scene. Your scene. And then update is called repeatedly, basically like every, it's not exactly every frame, but it's sort of, I don't know. It's more, the easy way to think of it is it's called every frame of your animation. So like, I don't know if you ever used like ActionScript 2 or Flash or any of that stuff, but this would be the same as like on clip event enter frame. I can't believe I still remember that, but yeah, I did. I used the hell out of Flash when ActionScript 2 and Flash games were a thing. But this is a better way of doing it. I'm happy that the world moved on from Flash. As much as it pained me at the time when it happened, it's good. Anyways, we're not actually going to need an update function in this. You know what, I'll leave it there, but I'll just comment it out so that someone can read that in the future. But what we're going to do is we're going to say this.scene.start, and you know what, I do need constructors for all of these scenes. I totally forgot about that. There's something you got to do. You have to super it, I think. So you got to say constructor. I believe the function is super, and then you give it a key. So this would be like preloader scene or something. I don't know. That should do the trick. And then we're going to want to give title scene one as well. How do I do that there? Okay, so like that. I think I need to get more songs. I feel like we've repeated these like at least a few times now. So now that's how we can target that scene, is we can say start title scene. And that ought to do the trick. Let's just make a create function on this one. So what this should do is it should preload the assets, and then once it's done preloading, it should start the create function, at which point it'll call this scene.start command method, and it'll pass us off to the title scene, which we defined with this key through the super function, and yeah, so in theory, this ought to be, yeah, this ought to work. I don't know, we'll find out. Let's say made it to the title. Oops, wrong way. Okay, here we go. Reload time. I'm running my server. Okay, cool. And it didn't work. Shoot. All right. Oh, because we're not, we're still using just the boot scene, right? We're not even including this anywhere. So, yeah, we gotta include all these scenes in our config. I could listen to the Symphony Trap song on repeat. Is that the one that's playing right now? I'm really not familiar with these songs, but oh no, that's not this one. I don't think this is trap, is it? To be honest, trap is like one genre of music. I feel like such an old man saying this, but I kind of don't quite understand what it is yet. Like what defines a trap song? Is it just like kind of like really like heavy like rap beats, but without the rap? I don't know, I'm confused, but. That was the one I listened to today. I could listen. Oh, the symphony. Oh, wait, sorry. I already read that. That was the one I listened to today. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you ever want, you can like, I probably can't put them in the streams, but like if you've got like music you like, but it's copyrighted, totally just like personal message it to me or something and I'll listen to it. On YouTube, they had a circle and the songs were color-coded and it said it was a trap song. I'm not really sure. The subgenres of all the, yeah, oh, true that. There's so many. I personally really enjoy, I quite like progressive house, but I also really like, yeah, I don't know why. I'm really into this, this one song in this playlist. It's this one here, this Migraine song. It's called, apparently it's Future House, which is interesting. Don't know what that means, but anyways. Okay, anyway, so we got all our scenes loaded up now. Hi there, 2 more viewers. We're getting to the end of this stream now. We're just trying to get a logo to display on our title screen. We've got our dev setup all good to go, and now it's all it's working with Webpack 4 and Babel, so we can use ES6 JavaScript like this. Well, yeah, a little bit like this, though. We're using const and the fat arrow functions and all that, and this notation too. Anyways, hey, what's up, Homeless Pickle? I like your username. That's hilarious. Yeah, so you're just catching the end of it, but we're gonna just get a logo to display on our title screen, and we drew up a real, you know, wildly mediocre logo in Illustrator using my trackpad, which I'm not very good at drawing with anymore. But anyways, keep at it and see if we can get to the title screen right now. That's what we're trying to do first. Let's get it to load up everything and then jump us to the title screen, and it's still not doing it. So that's a bummer. When was the last compile? Yeah, so I think it's compiling, right? But yeah, it is compiling. Okay, so I have no idea what anything you said means, but I'll go with it. All right, fair enough, dude. We're making games, basically. That's what we're doing. We're making games with some really rad technology that is all courtesy of the open source. Who's like Chinese, JK? Yeah, I mean, well, anyone who doesn't speak Chinese is like, yep, that's a hard language. Apparently, English is the hardest language to learn, which I don't know if I believe that, because like the Chinese alphabet is like gnarly. They have like thousands and thousands and thousands of characters, but anyway. Anyway, bit of a tangent there. So yeah, I got to figure out why this isn't firing. I don't think the order matters. Or actually, yes, it does, because it tells us we specify what the first one is the first scene to boot, I think. Oh, right, because we're still just in the boot scene. We're not passing anything off to the preloader scene. So we gotta, in the create function of our boot scene, we'll do the same thing we're doing here. But we'll send it to the preloader screen. So we'll say this.scene. How did I already forget the function? Wow, I'm bad. Start, that's it. Wow, yeah. Sorry guys, I'm getting tired. I'm solidly sleep deprived at this point. But that's okay. Sleep deprivation is like my whole life. There's just not enough time in the day, you know? Not enough to do everything I want to do. Okay, let's see if this works. Ah, made it to the title screen. Yeah, look at that. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Cool, so we're on the title screen now. So now we can get cracking on actually displaying our logo that we have preloaded in. And to do that, you have to do something. We'll figure it out. Now I'm gonna go to the phaser docs here. Game objects, images, and hey, I just heard us. Hey, thanks, Homeless Pickle. Thanks for the follow, dude. Much appreciated. My goal is to try and get 30 followers by the end of January. I really don't know if I'm gonna make that, but thank you, man. You got me one step closer to it, and you know, it's really nice for me to you guys are enjoying what I'm doing, and or I hope you are, anyways. But anyway, okay, so yeah, we got our image object, an image game object. How do we actually, do we have to do this? Like create a new instance of it? Okay, so I guess we gotta say, go like this. We're gonna also import game objects. And then I'm gonna do a little, I've done this before, I actually remember, this is a bit of a shiesty trick I like to do, but we'll say image equals game objects. So this is some more ES6 stuff for you, but what this is doing is extracting the image object from the game objects object. But I do, no, you know what, I'm doing this all wrong. I thought I was going off on a bit of a weird tangent there. So what we want to do is say this.add.image, and then we pass it the key that we used for the preloader, which is logo. And I think we also need to specify X and Y, and probably a width and height. Possibly a width and height, I don't know. It's annoying that VS Code doesn't pick this up. It would be really nice if it could give me some info on that, but add.image, how about, is that gonna find us anything? Classes, no events, no game objects, perhaps. How is image? Am I just blind? It's probably like right, yeah, it's right in front of me. I'm just blind. I like the big words, and I'm gaining IQ points listening to you. Oh man, dude, I'm not that good. I'm kind of a noob at what I'm doing right now, to be totally honest with you, but I'm hoping to get better. So this channel is very much a learning experience for you guys, and it's a learning experience for me too. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll make something real cool together. And this is the thing I was just looking at. That's great. That's real helpful. Okay, how about we just resort to Google? That's always like the most useful tool in the world. So phaser 3 this dot add dot image. Oh, loading assets, right. They've got, here it is. Hey, look at that. They've got a tutorial and everything. Okay, so we pass, looks like we passed the, what, X and Y and then the key. Okay, so I did that in the wrong order, but no problem. So we'll pass it an arbitrary X and Y just to get it on the screen. But once we actually, when we're actually displaying it, because this game is going to be responsive, we have to keep in mind that we can't just statically place things at like arbitrary X and Y points. We have to use percentages, and we have to use, you know, like variable positioning and that kind of stuff. So it's, we're just going to do this as a test, but this isn't actually how we're going to be doing it for the real game. So we're just going to say put it at 100 and 100, and yeah, let's see if that works. Look at that, we've got a logo. It's huge, so we got to scale it down a bit, so we can do that really easy by just saying, oh boy, what is it? Dot, I almost want to say dot scale, but I don't think that's right. I'm just going to look it up again. Let's see, phaser 3 scale image. Scaling in phaser 3. Oh, phasergames.com. What is this? I was hoping for like a super cool website. And they're already asking to give notifications. Get out of here. No, I don't want to scale the game. I want to scale the images. Dot add sprite. Okay. Is that really it? Dot image. Oh man. Oh, here we go. There. See, no, that's not how we want to do it. We want to set it with a. We want to do it with a function. The documentation is probably going to help us out more here. Oh, actually, the image object is probably where we want to be. Scale. So those are the properties. I'm looking for the methods. I know they exist. Oh, methods right down here at the bottom. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's all the set methods. That's what we want. We want set something. Set origin? No, set scale right there. Thank you, phaser docs. All right, set scale, and it looks like we can pass it an X and optionally a Y. So let's just say scale, and we can just do 0. Oh, it did pick that up. That's interesting. Look at that. VS Code is smart. It knows what's going on. It knows the arguments anyways. So we're gonna scale it down to 0.5, which means it's gonna be half the size it would be. Wow, no it's not. All right, it's freaking out on us here. Just getting screamed at. Scale is not a function, really. Well then where did VS Code get all that info from? Well, that's okay. Oh, set scale, hoity-toy. Where did it get, I'm really curious about, yeah, so okay, scale X, scale Y, but that's weird. Don't know where it was getting those numbers from. Scale must be something, somewhere, but anyways, this is what we're gonna pass 0.5 into, and now it should stop screaming at us, and there you go, we've got a smaller image, and all is well with the world. So I guess let's just do this right now. Let's get the responsiveness going right from the get-go. We'll say logo X equals window dot, let's see, inner width. No, yes. Inner width divided by 2. Var logo Y equals window dot inner height. That would throw it right at the bottom, which might look cool, but let's say divided by 2, and let's offset it a little bit too. So I don't want it to just be square in the middle. We want to have room for some buttons or something later. So for this, we'll just say minus maybe, I don't know. I don't really like using arbitrary numbers here because, again, we're trying to make this as responsive and work on any device as it possibly can. But for now, we'll just do this. And if we encounter problems later, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Premature optimization is the root of all evil. I feel like I've said that in every stream I've done so far. But anywho, it's true. So, and there you go. We've got a centered image offset a little bit to the top. So you see, if I get rid of that minus 200, it'll be perfectly centered. See? Right in the middle of the screen. Bam, just like that. And let's get rid of the black background too, because then we can actually see that little bit of messy, weird drawingsness we did. So let's just say place the logo, and we'll say set the background. Actually, that's fine. I don't remember what this is like. I think it's something like this dot render. Let's just, you know what? I just realized I don't have to be looking up stuff constantly. We can just be being a little smarter about this and say, tell me what this is. I heard a bang again. I wonder if I'm just like shouting and people are getting mad. Could be a thing. Anyways, now we can actually go through here and figure out what's what. So I guess it is 12:30 and 12:40 in the morning, so maybe game. Yes, game.renderer dot. I'm looking for like a set background function or something. Canvas? No. All right, you know what? That's gonna take too long. Just to Google. Phaser 3 renderer, or let's just say render Phaser 3 set scene background color. Oh, that's version 2. We don't want version 2. We want version 3. So to the form here. Canvas renderers automatically use, yeah, but we're talking about background colors, aren't we? Not renderers. Oh, well, maybe it's part of it. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's part of this. It's the camera that we have to set the background color on. I knew that, but I totally forgot. So, okay, so cameras.main, set background color, looks easy enough. There we go. Look at that. And just like that, we have an image on the screen for our game, and it's something. It's a start. So I'm just gonna get this code up on GitHub and put a link for that you guys in the. I'll throw it in the chat for you, but I'll also throw it in the video description so you guys can see it later. Reference anything you might want to reference. I always just like to do my little sanity checks when I'm doing this. So we did make a git ignore. That's good. We need to do that. Just want to make sure we are ignoring everything we should be doing. Nice, thanks, GX Evolved. Yeah, I'm stoked. We've got the beginnings of a game. Just so you guys know, the GX Evolved I've already talked to about, but I already told GX Evolved, but just so the other viewers know, on Monday, we're not going to be doing so much development. We're going to be doing a drawing live stream. And I'm going to figure out a way to hook up my iPad to the stream. And then we're going to start drawing some like real graphics so we don't have to use these kind of like shiesty placeholder graphics that I'm using at the moment. Not that that's that bad. That actually looks not too bad. I think that's all right. But yeah. Anyways, point is we have a logo on the screen. We have the beginnings of a game. We have our development environment. Yes, and we can wrap up there, I dare say. But we'll I'll get the code online before we wrap up. I can show you guys how that works. Just want to make sure I'm not committing anything I shouldn't be committing. But I think that's all looking good. The only thing I'm not seeing is the Babel RC file, which is a little bit weird because I thought we had one. Oh, but we don't. Okay, whoopsie daisies, hold on. That's something I messed up on. Where's Babel RC? I thought I made one of those. I did. Why is, oh, I put it in source, my bad. You know what, I'm not gonna, I prefer doing things in the terminal half the time. CD source, ls, lsaf. What CLI am I using? It's VS Code. It's by Microsoft actually, but it's open source if you believe it or not. So it's pretty solid. I really like it. It's got like a ridiculously good extension store. It's not even a store. They're like 99% of them are free, I think, or maybe even 100% of them. But yeah, they're it's solid. It's really good. It's got a lot of the features that like Sublime Text has, if you've ever used Sublime Text, because that's the text editor I used for the longest time. It was super good. But it's got basically all my favorite features of Sublime, plus like cool stuff that Sublime didn't have. So yeah, that Matthew Mob, that's my CLI. Oh my God, sorry. You said CLI, oh my God. Yeah, you're still using Sublime? Cool, man, nice. You said CLI, my bad. I misread that. I thought you meant IDE. CLI, I'm just using the straight up Mac terminal, but I fucked with the text and now it's all like messed up and I can't get it to go back. It's all like, the spacing is all weird and I don't know. But anyways, you got into Atom, nice, man. Yeah, not text editor. I know, I read that and I was like, yeah, text editor, but no, anyways, thank you for bearing with me. I'm tired. Actually, we don't even need to give the file name, do we? All right. Also, this is just a handy little terminal command, which I'm guessing you guys might already know, but if you give the -A capital F flag for ls, it'll list hidden stuff as well. So like if you do it without it, you don't see any of the files that start with the dot, like git ignore or babel rc git directory. So if you do lsaf, or hold on, I'll illustrate it really clearly. So that's it without, and then that's it with. See? So you get to see all the hidden stuff. Kind of handy. Anyways, let's just check out our git status, and there we go. Now we have a Babel RC in the root, which, you know what, just to be safe, we should probably confirm that all our Webpack stuff is still working now that I've moved that file. So just bear with me one last step before we commit our stuff. npm run dev. And no screaming, good, and it's not yelling at us. Just make sure production's working too. Run build. Yo, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's almost 4. Oh wow, it's almost 4 for you? Damn, dude. Yeah, totally go to sleep. No doubt. Yeah, man, I'm glad we finally got into the game development. The website's not done, but I'll just finish that on my own time. I'll get into the games for the streaming. That's the fun stuff. That's what people really want to see, right? Yeah, man, have a good one, and I'll see you Monday maybe, if you're around. I'll definitely be streaming on Monday. I just got to remember to get my timing right, because I'll be in Toronto. But yeah, have a great night, dude. Thanks very much for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate the viewership, and the engagement is what I really enjoy. I I really get a lot out of chatting with you guys while I'm doing this stuff. It's cool. This is the kind of stuff I would just be sitting around doing by myself anyways, so having you guys here to chat with is wicked. It's super fun. Anyhow, yeah, so that's all building correctly. So let's just say npm run start just to make sure our dev server is still working. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but yep, cool. So we're good. All right, nice. Just Control C out of that, and cool, time to actually get our stuff online. So git status, we're good. I always like to run a git diff, of which there's going to be none because everything's untracked, because I'm dumb. But anyways, so we'll just git add. Ooh, oh, my headphones are dying. Hopefully the audio is not shitting out on you guys too. Looks okay. Anyways, cool, so git add everything, status scan, make sure it's all staged. Cool, looks good. Commit -m, and initial commit adds, or sets up Webpack 4 environment plus Babel plus phaser 3. Oh, my headphones are going. This is like a photo finish. That's some BS though. I definitely, these headphones are supposed to get like 5 hours of life, and they are sitting pretty at like 3 at the moment because I fully charged them before this stream. See, Apple's shiesty sometimes. I don't know. Despite the fact that like 80% of my things are Apple now, as much as that pains me to admit. But anyways, and creates basic title screen. This is already a long commit message. I'll just, yeah, that's fine. Title screen. And if you guys don't know about this, you can put emojis in your GitHub commit messages. And that right there, ship it, is my favorite one. I put it on like all my commits. Ship it. All right, so that's commit. We're ahead. That's good, that's what we want to see. Yeah, I guess we're just committing right to master. That's not something I do at work very often. I was like, this is wrong, I can't do this. But anyways, there we go. And look at that. We now have, we should have communication with GitHub. Ooh, user stats, cool. Check that out later, but go into my repositories, of which I have way too many. And here it is, NoPlaceLike. And we've got our first commit online. Look at that. See, that's the emoji in question. This spy squirrel, ship it dude, agent squirrel. And that's all the work we did today. So I'll throw this in the Twitch chat for you guys if you want to check it out. And I'm going to post it in the video descriptions both here and on YouTube as well. So I think that about wraps things up. I think I'm going to end it there. Thanks very much for watching, you guys. I hope this is actually showing my face right now because I just did that blind. But anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm not going to be back until Monday. My current schedule of streaming is Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to be keeping with that for a while, I think. I might switch it up in the future, but that's what it's going to be right now. Yeah, next time we're going to be doing an iPad drawing session instead of a development session, and we'll get some graphics going that we can then use in our next development session. That's the plan, and hope to see you guys there. And thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Have a great night, or morning, or day, or wherever you are. Have a great something. See ya.